As I explained in the previous set of videos about some properties of 0, you cannot divide by 0, and hopefully the link to that previous set of videos is in the description of this video. Let's look at where problems arise from the fact that you cannot divide by 0. Let's suppose that the green is 0. Will this be okay? Well, this fraction right here was simplified to 0 because I explained in that previous set of videos about some properties of 0. 0 divided by anything but 0, that would simplify to 0. And as we already know from a previous video in this set of videos, the fraction bar means divide. So now we have 0 divided by something that isn't 0. And so that whole expression would be 0. And that is 0 and not undefined. So we're okay here. We're good here. And so this is good. Let's now talk about where the pink is 0. Will this be okay? Well, we have a denominator of 0. And as we already know from a previous video in this set of videos, the fraction bar means divide. So we're dividing by 0, and you cannot do that. So this is not okay. Let's talk about where the second numerator is 0, where the purple is 0. Will that be okay? Well, this fraction here was simplified to 0 because I have 0 as a numerator and something else that isn't 0 as a denominator. So I have 0 divided by something that isn't 0, and that would be 0. And now I have something that isn't 0 divided by 0. I'm dividing by 0, and you cannot do that. So this is not okay. This would be undefined. Now let's talk about this case, where the orange is 0. Would this be okay? Well, the denominator is 0, and as I explained in the previous video, in this set of videos, the fraction bar means divide, so we're dividing by 0. This is undefined. Let's further talk about the last case where the orange is 0. And here we have on the slide this idea of keep, change, and flip, which works for all cases except if you run in a case of divide by 0, which you cannot do. So here is keep, here is change, and here is flip. Now let's let the orange be 0. Now here we have on the right side a fraction with the numerator is 0 and the denominator is something but 0. Now this would be 0 divided by something that isn't 0 based on the information in a previous video in this set of videos about why the fraction bar means divide. Now we have 0 divided by something that isn't 0, and as explained in the previous set of videos about some properties of 0, that would be 0. And so we have something times 0, and so that would be 0, and so on the right hand we have 0. We have something that is defined. So we could say on the right hand side, look, this is undefined, and we may be tempted by the idea of keep, change, and flip to think on the left hand side isn't undefined either. Well, let's look at it. But here we have a denominator of 0, and as I explained in a previous set of videos, in the set of videos about why the fraction bar means divide, we are really dividing by 0 here. And you cannot divide by 0. And therefore we find out that the original is undefined. This shows that the only problem you may come across with keep, change, and flip is when you're dividing by 0. So you have to be careful about dividing by 0 when the pink is 0, when the purple is 0, or when the orange is 0. Thank you for watching this video. I would appreciate it if you would subscribe, like, and comment. Here's a link to the playlist in which this video is a part of. Feel free to click on this link.